Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, before we proceed any further along, I want to give a big shout out to everybody here on the channel who has played a role in helping True School Sports hit 28,000 subscribers. The support, it's been unbelievable, and it's much appreciated. So thank you guys out there for all the support over the years. With that being said, in today's video, this is actually a video request. So shout out to my main man, 1SSS. He's loyal subscriber, watcher of the channel. He actually requested that I do a follow-up video to a video that I did back in August. Now, that's how I know he really watched me, because in August I wasn't getting a lot of views. But I did a video in August, and I'll show it to you guys. It's right here. I did a video in August just prior to the Andy Ruiz Anthony Joshua rematch. And in that video, I was just talking a lot about some warning signs I've seen from Andy Ruiz, and just some things that I'd seen from Andy Ruiz going into the rematch that were leading me to believe that he might actually Buster Douglas the rematch. He might come in out of shape or unmotivated, kind of like Buster Douglas did after he upset Mike Tyson, and then he came into the Holyfield fight, the next fight, as the undisputed heavyweight champion, and he got folded up. He was completely unmotivated, and he was a completely different fighter in terms of his physique, in terms of his fitness, and in terms of psychologically the man he was in the first fight. So if you guys want to see what I said in that video, I'll leave the annotation for you right here, and you can go check that out. It was a good video done back in October. So shout out to 1SS for bringing back an old True School Sports classic. Now let's get to Andy Ruiz, because as it stands right now, when we speak about the heavyweights in the division that are the most accomplished, there is a valid argument that you can make for Andy Ruiz being the most accomplished heavyweight in the division without a title at the moment. Even I would say more so than Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder, even though he had 10 defenses, he never unified any titles. Okay, and this guy beat Anthony Joshua, who was undefeated, and at that particular time was looked at to be the man in the division. So it was a big win for Ruiz. We look at this is his career's last 5 or 6 fights. He had that controversial loss to Joseph Parker in New Zealand. He had a couple tune-up fights, beat Kevin Johnson, signed on PBC, whooped up on Alexander Dimitrenko, cashed out on the Anthony Joshua fight, and then he came in as Jabba the Hutt in the rematch. So in that video, I just talked about the similarities that I was seeing between Andy Ruiz going into the rematch and what we saw from Buster Douglas going into the Holyfield fight after he had defeated Mike Tyson. So let's go to Buster Douglas for a second. This is James Buster Douglas. This was a guy that was a talented heavyweight in his day. I would say that he probably underachieved, believe it or not. Most people don't know he was a pretty good fighter. Better than, his career actually should have been more than what it was. But most people don't know about Buster Douglas that, he picked up some good wins in his career. There's some names of guys he beat besides Mike Tyson that you guys will recognize. Look at the 2 fights before he beat Mike Tyson. He beat Oliver McCall, and he beat the very strong and durable Trevor Berbick. So he was a good fighter. He was a capable fighter, but the knock on him had always been in his career that he was lazy, he didn't train hard, and he couldn't really harness that talent. In order for Buster Douglas to be the best version of himself on any particular night, he was going to have to, the stars and the quasars and the atmosphere and the solar system was going to have to align for him to be the best version of himself. The same way it was with Andy Ruiz, because many of us know that Andy Ruiz he changes trainers like he changes clothes, and we know that Andy Ruiz in many fights has been overweight Jabba the Hutt. But I mean, let's look at Buster Douglas. Let's look at him. This is a guy that scored one of the biggest upsets, not just in heavyweight history, but in sports history. And after he beat Mike Tyson, there was no longevity. There was no, he didn't build off the win, And Andy Ruiz, he's kind of in that situation now where he's quote unquote Buster Douglas the rematch against Anthony Joshua. He didn't show up in his best shape. He didn't show up in his best form that night, and he allowed Anthony Joshua to box circles around him. And let's have it right. I thought Anthony Joshua boxed a brilliant fight, but I think a big part of why he was able to box such a brilliant fight was because Ruiz let him off the hook. Because if you go back and you watch the fight, Ruiz was still able to land good shots, hard shots. He just didn't have the agility or the speed of the first fight to cut the distance, to close the gap, and cut the ring off. You see what I'm saying? So, as it stands right now, if Andy Ruiz never gets another big heavyweight win in the division, he is effectively the Mexican Buster Douglas. In one fight, he was the Mexican Joe Frazier. Now he's on the verge of being the Mexican Buster Douglas. Now, I want to take a look at just Andy Ruiz Jr. and what are some options for him. What are some options to get him back into title contention? Because when we look at the WBC rankings. You know, we have the likes of Ruiz, which I think would be a good fight for him. It's an in-house PBC fight. That could be a good fight for him. You know, we have an Oscar Rivas. That's another matchup for him. We have Helenius, Robert Helenius. Maybe that's a fight. Maybe that's where he goes for that. There's still the Adam Kaunaki fight. You know, that was much talked about before Kaunaki suffered a loss. So, you know, right now, there's been a lot of talk about who his next trainer will be. You know, first we heard about Teddy Atlas. Then we heard about, now we're hearing about Eddie Reynoso, Canelo's trainer. And personally, the way I see it is this. This guy's had world-class trainer after world-class trainer after world-class trainer. And it comes to a point where he's got to take a look at himself and realize that the common denominator in all of his fights where he underperformed was him. It wasn't his trainer. It wasn't his camp. It was him. It was his complacency. It was his love for pizzas. It was his love for milkshakes. It was his love for burgers, fries, and shakes that got him to this point. So, is Andy Ruiz a good fighter? Absolutely. Is he somebody that brings entertainment and excitement to the heavyweight division? Absolutely. But as it stands right now, he's the Buster Douglas of this generation. And I don't want that to be the case for Andy Ruiz. He's such a likable guy, and I think he still has so much to give to the sport. So hopefully, if he is going to go the Eddie Reynoso route, and if he is going to train under Eddie Reynoso, hopefully they strike up a good partnership, and it winds up being something that could work for him. So, yeah, you guys let me know in the comments what you think. Like, what's a matchup you want to see next for Andy Ruiz? For me, ideally, I think the two fights that make the most sense for him are either Adam Kaunaki, because he's coming off a loss, and that's a good TV fight for PBC. And Adam Kaunaki is what? I know he's still in the rankings. Let's see. Is he in the rankings anywhere? He's number 6 in the WBA, and he's not ranked in WBC. He's not ranked in the IBF, and he's not ranked in the WBO. So look, the Adam Kaunaki fight could be a good tune-up fight. Or the Luis-Ortiz fight would be a fight that I think would prove a lot to me, because Ortiz, say what you want about him, I think his style would give Andy Ruiz some problems, because he's mobile, he's a southpaw, he's a good counterpuncher. So yeah, I want to see these fights, and we'll see what happens to Andy Ruiz. But yeah, that's just my video. I'm honoring the video request on my man 1SSS. It's a follow-up video to my video I did back in October, where I said that Andy Ruiz might bust the Douglas rematch, because I thought that the way he was handling his newfound success and fame, it had me believing that he was not going to be dedicated to the in the rematch, and ultimately I was proven right, even though I wound up picking him to win the fight. So anyway, that's the video. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.